How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading when the price is going up or down. Introduction to Shibarium, Shiba Layer 2 Network. Rejoice, Shibarium, Shib Beta is about to be launched. We ask the community to please understand that this phased release is not a matter of when, but a matter of developing Shibarium correctly and introducing it responsibly. Avoid asking when, because the answer will always be soon. Yet with that being said, we are approaching the final touches for Shibarium's beta and its imminent launch. Development requires time and resources not only to build but also ensure everything is secure. Patience is key, and some see Shibarium as a price pumping tool, but that is not the project's focus and never has been. Shibarium is being built to fulfill Ryoshi's vision and provide the community with a tool to build and grow the project on their own terms. I didn't highlight too much more here, but they'll allow you to do your own making NFTs and games, I believe. Don't quote me on that. You'd want to read this a little more. They don't really give a definitive date at all. Like they said, don't ask when. This is off of their website, so if you want to read the article, you could just go to the Shiba Inu website. What is it? Shibaswap.com. And then it's just right here. Oh, what's this? A different one. Thus far, we've started Shibarium Layer 2 that allows anyone to build a digital product, conduct peer-to-peer transactions, and other basic capabilities, but this is only the beginning. For what feels like a millennia, the world has been divided, blah blah blah. Let's see if they give any... I don't see any definitive date or anything here. But if you want to learn a little more about Shibarium, you could read this new article, or I could possibly include it tomorrow when I read all the highlights. Final Fantasy maker Square Enix to launch NFT game on Polygon. Square Enix, the storied Japanese video game publisher behind franchises like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and Kingdom Hearts, announced today its launch to the upcoming NFT game Symbiogenesis on Polygon. Symbiogenesis was first announced last November, and at the time, the publisher said that the story-driven collectible games tentatively planned to launch on Ethereum. However, the company stated today that it will use Polygon instead, which uses a sidechain to offer faster and cheaper transactions than Ethereum's own mainnet can handle. Square Enix opted to tap into Polygon's high transaction speeds, low gas fee, and overall user friendliness to deliver its unique experience to Web3 fans, game producer Naoki Tamate said in press release. Sorry if I botched that. Square Enix offered a few more details alongside today's announcement. The game will apparently be built around 10,000 character NFTs tied to strategic game mechanics. Although there will be other NFTs used in the game as well, owning a character NFT is not required to play the game. Character NFTs can apparently create a replica NFT to share story information with other players. Symbiogenesis will take place on a floating continent above a polluted future Earth, with society forced to band together to make tough choices once a dragon threatens their safe haven. The game will feature turn-based gameplay. The storyline will take different paths as users complete missions and hold or trade different NFTs. Previously, Square Enix invested in Ethereum Metaverse game Sandbox. The announcement that it will revive its dormant Dungeon Siege franchise in its game world. The publisher also launched NFT collectibles via Japan via Line blockchain and announced Final Fantasy 12, I believe, NFTs tied to physical action fighters via Engine's Affinity platform built on Polkadot. Despite complaints from traditional gamers regarding NFTs, Square Enix has continued to emphasize opportunities seized in the space and invest in growing its Web3 efforts. So it's nice seeing them keep going, even, and hope that people are going to adopt, as once a company like them creates a really good game, you'll get a lot of people probably really interested into the space then. Bitcoin crosses 24K as Ordinals take the network by storm. This pump, which comes close to breaking an 8-month record, arrives as users and major brands flock to the OG blockchain to inscribe content on the network using Ordinal inscriptions. The number of Ordinal inscriptions crossed 100,000 late Tuesday night, and unlike Bitcoin sidechains like Stacks or Counterparty, Ordinals are inscribed directly onto the blockchain. Projects moving to Ordinals include the popular Solana NFT DGods, which put 535 DGod NFTs on a single block on the blockchain. That's why they made that move, so instead of having 535 blocks on Solana, they have one block on Bitcoin. On Wednesday, Zverse, a Bitcoin-based wallet app, added support for Ordinals as well. So, Ordinals are getting adopted. That means more things can happen on the Bitcoin chain rather than it just being a coin. Now it's more, or just being a, like, one digital reserve. Now it has some utility behind it, so it can gather more interest. But while Ordinals is having its moment in the sun, some point to recent movements by the SEC against stablecoins and staking, speculating that investors are converting their altcoins into Bitcoin, which SEC Chair Gary Gensler said in the past was not a security. So, obviously Bitcoin's not a security, and you see a lot of crackdown on other stuff. People that are more risk adverse and don't want to take risk are going to get out and go into something less chance of being shut down. Celcius reaches acquisition agreement with Nova Wolf. Bankrupt crypto lender Celcius announced Wednesday that it has selected Nova Wolf Digital Management to help bring its high-profile bankruptcy to a case. Case to a close, wow. The sale and reorganization plan was put forth by Celcius debitors with full support of Celcius's official unsecured creditors committee, or UCC. The plan calls for the creation of a new company that would be managed by Nova Wolf. Nova Wolf would also make a direct cash contribution of between $45 million to $55 million to the new venture. The debitors believe that Nova Wolf plan provides the best method to distribute the debitors' liquid crypto assets and maximize the value of the debitors' illiquid assets through a new company run by experienced asset managers, Celcius stated. The new venture would prevent debitors from assuming significant costs associated with liquidating customer assets and winding down the company, the plan states. Celcius estimated that over 85% of the bankrupt lenders' customers would be able to recover around 70% of their claims in liquid crypto, which doesn't include staked Ethereum. The new company would place creditors with claims less than 5,000 related to Celcius earn accounts into a convenience class, enabling them to receive funds through a one-time distribution of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the stablecoin USDC. Creditors owed more than 5,000 would be allowed to reduce their claim amount to join the class, and creditors owed at least 1,000 can opt out of the class and receive a portion of yet to be determined funds recovered for general earn participants. The new company would be completely owned by Celcius earned creditors, and the ownership in the company would be distributed as a token that would trade on a network called Province Blockchain through a regulated broker-dealer. So this would be bringing a little more regulation to the new Celcius company, and hopefully would mitigate any of those problems we saw previously. So on to the charts now. You can see we got this big God candle today. Almost broke 25k. That was a pretty strong move today. Get rid of some of these old resistances we don't need real quick. So we made a pretty strong move up. We are continuing a strong move up with tomorrow's candle and just blowing past all this resistance we had in these higher nodes. We didn't get hung up on any of them. We have like 0 resistance left to break above this area. So if we break above this area and hold, it's likely we may not need to really hold very long, as we could just shoot up right to about 28k, which would be an insane run up right now. But like we covered in the news, ordinals are helping Bitcoin become more utility than just a store of asset or a store of value. So likely this run up could increase, and we could find a newer support area that we may not have had without ordinals. Our RSI is continuing up, our stochastics continuing up, money flow is coming up pretty good, VWAP is coming up pretty strongly, and this momentum wave is still curling up pretty strong. Now, usually when you get a strong move up, you'll get a big correction, pretty even correction back down. So we could retest this 23.5 area, possibly come back down, make a retest, and then bounce back up, and then we'd see that 28k. But we'd have to see what we're looking like on the lower time frames to determine how we're going to go from here. We are getting a reversal arrow, which does signal that the trend could be reversing, which we were going in a downtrend sideways, so we moved up and just shot up. So pretty good signal. 4 hour, our momentum wave is continuing pretty strong, our stochastics really strong, and our RSI is getting pretty strong. However, our RSI is really overbought right now, so it's likely it would come down and cool off at some point. Our money flow is coming up really strong on the 4 hour. Our VWAP is kind of curling down. So short term, we are losing some steam. If our VWAP breaks and then our money flow starts to taper down and our momentum wave comes down, that would be a bearish thing to see. The 2 hour, we're about to break the neutral zone, so that's a little concerning. We want to see what the next 2 to 4 hours look like. Our stochastics just flat against the top, has no more room to run up, and our RSI is almost at that point as well. So we're getting really strong movement. However, we could see some cool off, but usually when you get the start of the run of a bull market, you don't see much cool off. Oh, don't want to mess with that. You'll get like a big run up and then maybe a little drop and then a big run up and then a little drop. So what you'd be looking for if you're betting on this run up continuing, which it's very likely at this point as we did come down, test the resistance area and broke back above. If we don't break below this resistance area again, that'd be a very bullish sign, and it's likely we'd be off from here. XRP probably invalidated our head and shoulders. We peaked out of our head and shoulders, so it's invalidated. So we likely won't see that lower price target that we had, which is a good signal. We're getting a green dot. Our momentum wave's not coming up as strong as Bitcoin's, but it is coming up. VWAP's coming up. Money flow's stagnant on the neutral zone. RSI still acting a little goofy. It did come up, but we're dropping, so it's pointing down right now. Stochastic's really strong. If we look at the 4 hour, our stochastics got a bearish cross and is going to cool down. Our RSI is pointing down, but that's just because we're falling. Watch out for a bearish engulfing candle. Our money flow is kind of curling. Our VWAP is starting to come down. So those are some kind of bearish signals on the 4 hour. I don't know why we'd be seeing those. Bitcoin's seen pretty strong moves. We are flashing some red dots here as well. This is a bearish pattern where you get a big green candle, a small green candle, and a big red candle. So if we confirm something like this where this candle is about even with the other one, that'd be a bearish sign as well. Money flow is coming up on the 2 hour. Our VWAP is just going up, down, up, down, up, down. So we're just getting a bunch of waves up and down. When your VWAP crosses down, it doesn't mean you're going to just dive down. It just means that the trend is starting to cool off. If we look at algo, we're back inside this ascending channel that I said we could possibly get if Bitcoin rose up. Our stochastic is going up. Our RSI is in the 50s, so pretty decent area for the RSI. The stochastic coming up will help solidify an RSI move up if we continue this bullish action. We have a green dot on our momentum wave. It barely peaked under, so it's coming back up. That's a bullish sign. Our VWAP is coming up, so our trend is pretty strong currently, and our money flow is coming up, so long term the trend is strong as well. The 4 hour, we do have a green dot signaling we could have some more bullish momentum, so that is a good sign to see. Our stochastic's kind of going flat. It really doesn't have much more area it can run up because it's banging against the top here. Our RSI is kind of starting to curl, but that's because we're kind of dropping here. We'll want to see that curl back up and start to pick up on the 4 hour. Money flow starting to curl down, VWAP starting to curl down. So we may see some short-term cool-off as we're seeing these VWAPs start to come near this neutral area. We could also see a bounce off of this neutral area. Here on algo, we did break the neutral area, and we are just peaking in the bearish area right now. You'd want to see if that confirms with this candle. We are getting red dots on both our top and our momentum wave, so our momentum wave is going to start coming down. Our money flow is kind of tapering and curling, so that's a kind of bearish sign to see. If we look over at the 15s to see what the very short term is predicting, very bearish. We got bearish divergence here with price moving up, momentum wave coming down, RSI is coming down even though price is going up. So bearish divergence is all over here. So if these don't get invalidated, that could mean that we'll see some short-term cool-off and then possibly a run-up afterwards. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.